What's going on, gents? Yeah, I just had this thought on my mind about health. Look, at the start of the year, I had a pretty massive health scare, life-changing one, I guess. And yeah, so growing up, I was somewhat considerably healthy, I guess. I ate decent food. I did smoke when I was younger, like when I was in my late teens, early 20s. And that's pretty much as far as it went. I was never massively overweight or anything, a little chunky growing up, but yeah, once I hit my 20s and that, I gave up smoking and was hitting the gym, eating healthy, and yeah, life's sweet. But the last couple of years, I've sort of let myself go and took up cigarettes again. But at the start of this year, I thought I hurt my back. And pretty badly. Like I thought I'd really done a number on it. I was in a lot of pain, and for a couple months it just got worse and worse. Anyway, one morning I woke up and I called the boss and I said, "Look, man, I don't think I'm going to be in. I'm in a lot of pain." And I said, "I think I'm going to go see a doctor." Anyway, the pain got worse and worse, and I thought, I'm going to have a shower. Hopefully the warm water will, alleviate the pain a bit, and I'll go to the doctor's. Anyway, I'm standing there in the shower, and I coughed up a blood clot. It was about the size of my palm, almost. And I was like, oh, fuck. What's going on? I'm thinking in my head, my son's 3 months old, and I'm going to fucking die. Anyway, I get out of the shower and I tell the missus, I think I need to go to the hospital. Anyway, she goes, "What's wrong?" At this time, I didn't tell her I coughed up blood. I just said my back's really sore and I can't breathe. Because I knew she would have freaked. And rightfully so, like it's pretty serious. Anyway, she rushes me to the hospital. That drive to the hospital was the most agonizing and long ride of my life. It took like 15 minutes to get there, but it was shit. Anyway, I get to the hospital and I tell them I can't breathe, I'm in a lot of pain. And the pain's that bad, like I could barely talk. Anyway, we get in, he asked what's wrong. I said, "Look, I don't know what's going on. I've really hurt my back, I can't breathe." And I'm at this point, it's very hard for me to tell him my symptoms because I start vomiting. I start vomiting, my blood pressure's through the roof. And I mentioned to the bloke that saw me, "Look, I coughed up blood this morning." And this was as my missus was parking the car. I really didn't want to say anything until we knew what was going on because I really didn't want to worry her. And yeah, so they take me into fast track, and they give me the green whistle because to try and alleviate the pain. It did nothing. They gave me morphine. They gave me endo eventually. Absolutely did nothing. At this point, I don't have a coherent thought in my head because I'm just in a lot of pain. I can't breathe. And they send me in for a scan of my kidneys. They send me in for X-ray and I think it was like an MRI. I always get mixed up between MRI and CATs. It was one of the two. It comes back that there's nothing wrong, and at this point I'm that out of it. I'm murmuring. I'm fucked. I'm absolutely fucked. Anyway, the hospital was going to discharge me. Anyway, while they were sorting out my discharge papers, I start going through a coughing fit, and I end up coughing up blood onto a napkin. Well, my missus, the poor girl, she spiraled. She freaked. She went white as a ghost. And as they come back talking about me getting discharged, she's screaming at him, "He's just coughed up blood. What are you doing?" Because they're thinking, "Well, we don't know what's wrong with you, we'll just send you home," because that's how half the hospitals here are sometimes. They're fucked. This whole time, mind you, I'm vomiting. I'm vomiting like crazy. I'm spilling my guts up because I'm just fucked. Anyway, she's caused a commotion saying, "You need to check him out. He's not right. What the fuck?" And they go, "Okay, we're going to go send him in for scans on his lungs." So they did it's like either a CAT or an MRI scan. I always get mixed up. It's the big thing that goes around you. And that was the most excruciating part of it all. Because I had to lay down. I couldn't lay down, I couldn't sit, and I couldn't stand. No matter what I did, it was fucked. But if I laid down, it was even worse. And I had to have my arms above my head, and they're telling me to take a deep breath in. I puked my guts up in there. I was fucked. And eventually I end up doing the scans, and they come back and they say your right lung is full of fluid. And they say, we think you got pneumonia. In the meantime, I'm vomiting and I'm coughing up into those plastic bags, and I'm out of it. I have no idea what's going on. I'm just that fucked. I wasn't even thinking about, am I dying? I was just thinking, this fucking hurts. Anyway, long story short, I get admitted into hospital. That night was the worst night of my life. They had to chuck the oxygen on me. I'm all hooked up to machines and wired up and to monitor my heart rate and whatnot. My oxygen levels dipped really bad that they had to, whack the oxygen on me. And I was just sort of in and out of it the whole night. The next morning, I was still really sick. My sister came out to see me. My missus was there as well. And they were just, my nephew came, my nephew and his missus came and visited. And I was that fucked, I don't even remember seeing them. I spent five nights in hospital, and I had a lot of time to self-reflect. I let myself go, and I started smoking ciggies. I work in a dirty environment, and I'm just not taking care of myself. And I'm thinking to myself, I want to be there to see my son grow. That was my biggest fear, was leaving my family behind. And just thinking about how selfish I've been, because, not looking after yourself, that is the selfish thing to do as a man, especially if you have a family. You need to be healthy and on board to provide and take care of your family. And I fucking failed. And one of these nights in hospital, when I was really bad, I think it was the second night, I had let's just say a spiritual awakening. I found Jesus. And I might touch on that in another video. It goes pretty deep. Yeah, so I also had a lot of time to reflect on the importance of making sure I'm there to see my son grow and my future children. And it was a big wake-up call to me. Anyway, so I get out, I quit the ciggies and that. But obviously, a lot of people, when they quit ciggies, they put on weight because they eat more. And that's what I've done. I've become a fat fuck. So the last 2 weeks, I've been hitting the gym, I've been eating right, and I'm starting to feel fantastic. I'm still recovering from the pneumonia. My last scan a few weeks ago shows I still have some fluid in the base of my right lung, but it's getting better. I've just been pondering for the last, few weeks, the importance of health and stuff. And it's not just, staying away from, ciggies and other substances and whatnot, but also eating right and exercising. And I want to document my journey, or my weight loss journey. I want to document, my progress. I want to come back to this video and go, fuck, look how far I've come. Yeah, so I also want to set an example for my son. I want him to know that constant hospital trips are not normal. Constant trips to the doctor's not normal. Being overweight's not normal. To set an example to look after himself, look after his health and well-being. So I hope I can look back on this video in the future and be proud of how far I've come. So I thought I'd share my story. I want to know if any blokes out there have had a similar experience before. Are you struggling with addiction of some sort? Are you struggling with gluttony? You're struggling to lose weight? What's your story? All the money in the world doesn't matter if you're going to die at a young age. None of it means anything if you're not looking after yourself and you end up croaking in your earlier years. If there's anything to take away from this, is look after your health, guys. If you're smoking ciggies, get rid of them. If you're vaping, fuck it off. If you're eating shit, change your eating habits, start eating healthy foods, and go to the gym. We're not hunter and gatherers anymore. You need to work out. And I hope I can set an example for, in the future, hopefully everyone watching, and most importantly, my family and my son. So I'm going to do updates on my progression. I'm not going to make this my whole channel. you know, it's not a fitness channel. It's not going to be a weight loss journey channel. I'm just going to do monthly updates, I guess, on how I'm going. I want to keep myself accountable, you know, and yeah, it stops me from slacking as well. It gives me something to do, some bit of purpose. Yeah, this is not what I'm going to do for most of my content. But yeah, guys, I'm not going to ramble on for too long. I think I've said what I needed to say. Anyway, I hope my story hopefully gets to someone out there and sets an example of what not to do and to better yourselves. Anyway, I'm rambling on too much. If you've stayed this long, thank you. Let me know in the comments below if you had a similar experience before. Are you struggling with something? Forget to leave a like, hit the dislike button twice if you dislike the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.